Cool. All right. Okay, so 9.1, we're just going to start off with length unit conversion in 9.1. There are some really basic unit conversions that you're expected to already know. For example, I expect you to already know that there's 12 inches in a foot. I'm not going to put that on the formula sheet. You should just know that. All right, so one thing that I think is kind of cute that I always remember from like when I'm learning this like in elementary school, I remember learning that larger to smaller you multiply, right? And then, so it's multiplying, and then smaller to larger you divide. See the dividing sign where my head's the dot? Okay, so this is dorky, but I always remember that. So that's one little trick that you can use. The way I like to do it, really, most of the time it works for, I like this method because I feel like it's a method that works every single time, and I learned this method actually in chemistry, and I've always liked to use it. Basically what you do is start out with what you have. You got 5 feet, and then multiply that by basically like a conversion factor. Oh, sorry. So like whatever this unit is, I need to put that same unit down here to match up so it'll cancel out. So like I need to put feet down here as well. And I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, so then I just put 12 inches on the top. So then I just know that I need to basically multiply 5 times 12, which is 60. So, and the feet units cancel out, so the units that I'm left with is inches, so that's my final answer, 60 inches. So, I mean, that's a really easy one, but that's just, some of them get longer and longer, and I think that method is good with all the problems, especially like once they get longer and stuff. And so, like on number 2, we want to convert 2 yards to inches. And so, let's see. We know that it even tells you on here that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, which I think you should really know that anyway, but that's given to you as well. So, you probably know that there's 36 inches in a yard, but let's pretend that we don't, and let's do it the long way in this case, just to see how the method looks like. So 2 yards. So I know I have to put yards down here also, and I know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So now that allows me to cancel out yards, and then I still want to get from feet to inches, so now I need to put feet down here so that I'll be able to cancel out feet, and I know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And then I can cancel out feet, and the units that I have left are inches, which is what I want my final answer to be anyway. So then I'm just going to do 2 times 3 times 12, and that'll give me the answer. So that's 6 times 12, that's 72 inches. All right, so if I want to convert 6.5 miles to feet, start out with 6.5 miles, and then I got to put miles down here on the bottom, and I know that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet, which I would expect you to know that, even though I also gave it to you on the sheet, so. Well, yeah, you do. It's on the sheet. So then you're able to cancel out miles, you're left with feet. You just multiply 6.5 times 5,280, and that's your answer. So that is 34,320 feet. So as you can see, you're definitely going to want to have a calculator for tomorrow's quiz, right? For sure.
Yeah, was watching do my homework, and he goes, compared to what you were doing last semester, this is, he goes, I don't understand, what you progressing? Hey, I'm just glad.
Yeah.
3 minutes of computer.
No, this is definitely easier. If you can get through intermediate algebra, this is definitely easier. But I mean, like I said, that if we're starting out easy, it will get slightly more difficult, but not that much more difficult.
He just thought it was funny.
Okay, 327 feet, we want to convert that to miles, so 327 feet, so then we're going to put feet on the bottom so we can cancel it out, and we know that 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. So in this case, cancel out feet, so you're left with miles. So in this case, it's going to be 327 divided by 5,280. Okay, and if this was on a quiz, test, homework, etc., you would be given specific instructions on what to round this to. So I don't know, in this case, let's just round it to 0.0619 miles. And then number 5, 1,328 inches, and we want to convert that to yards. So again, I'm going to kind of do this a long way a little bit, but 1,328 inches. So I have to put inches on the bottom of the next fraction. And let's say I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, well that allows me to cancel out inches. Now I've moved on to feet, but I still need to move on from that to get yards. So again, I'm going to put feet on the bottom so that I'm able to cancel out feet. And I know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. And now I can cancel out feet, and my answer is going to be in yards. So in this case, what I'm going to do is 1328 divided by parentheses 12 times 3. Okay? That's how that will be in your calculator. So that's approximately 36.89 yards. All right. Any questions about that? I'm going to go ahead and pass this around. This is some worksheets for chapter 9, so just take one of those and pass that around. The first 2 pages, I probably should have had you done that earlier, but it's just kind of giving you a feel for some units. It's real easy. Yeah, so go ahead and maybe do do a few of those on the first 2 pages. That's just kind of giving you a feel for, the comparison between, different kinds of units. And then, let's see. You could probably go ahead and do some of those on the 3rd page as well if you want. We haven't talked anything about ounces and cups and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you don't know those conversion factors and you want to skip those, that's fine. you can just do the ones that have to do with yards and feet and miles and inches and all that stuff. And all of the worksheets have the answers on the back. So yeah, go ahead and just skip to that third page and the one that has starts with actual unit conversions, and maybe do like number 2, 3, 4, work on those for just a few minutes, just to give you a couple of practice problems. Anybody have any questions? Calculator is absolutely beautiful, but you know you need to. Yeah, I just have some mark.
It's weird because I took this class last semester and I dropped it, and like.
She didn't care what calculator we used.
Yeah, and she had different, like she would do different,
Mrs. Yater.
Yeah.
She knows like so much stuff about things.
yeah, she'd do like this, I do on a big calculator, this and I do on a small calculator.
I guess I'm just a little bit more.
Well, you can't use it in like, there's ones you can't use it in the scientific business stuff. Right. Or anything.
13, 24, 25.
That makes sense. All right, any questions before we move on to the metric system? Okay.
Is there any way to turn up like a contrast or something?
I don't think so.
And if you lay it like this,
I know.
I mean, it's a nice little calculator, the more I use it, the more I like it, but it just drives me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
But, no, I don't think so. Yeah, that would be nice, but.
It is a nice little, I mean, for the price, it's a nice little calculator.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Even my mom was impressed with it.
All right. So, okay, so we have the metric system, and so so these prefixes apply for basically all the different types of units you can have in the metric system. So even though right now we're just talking about length, so that means that in this section, when it says U, which stands for the basic unit, that stands for meters in this case. But it could also just as easily stand for grams or liters, okay? Or some other stuff, I don't know. But those are the main ones I think of. So also there's like a lot of acronyms that people like to make up to help you remember these, because you do have to remember these. These are not listed on your sheet. There are some of the ones on the sheet are like telling you converting between the English system to the metric system and stuff like that. But as far as knowing like just the metric ones, you have to know those. So, for example, one of the things I remember hearing was King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. It's a good one, right? So, let's probably put that on here. Okay, so trying to fix this thing. Okay. All right, so it still doesn't work. Fit it down here. It's weird. All right, so anyway, there you go. Okay, now the way I like to do the metric system, there's always different ways, faster ways, whatever you can do this. I'm just going to tell you how I like to do it. I like to refer everything back to that basic unit. So like, what I mean by that is I always know how every other one relates to this basic unit. So I know that there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, 100 meters in a hectometer, and 10 meters in a meter. And then I know that 1 meter contains 10 decimeters, 100 centimeters, 1,000 millimeters. So, let's see if I can maybe write that on here too. So like this equals 1,000 meters, this equals 100 meters, this equals 10 meters, and then the U equals 10 decimeters, which also equals 100 centimeters, which also equals 1,000 millimeters. Okay, so that's the way I think of it in terms of, so even though it might take like an extra step or something, I always want to refer everything back to the meter. So anyway, that's just me. If there's another way that you like to do it and it works for you, more power to you. So for number 6, start off with, what?
Under the U, you got the 10 p.
100 centimeters and 1,000 millimeters. This pen is crappy. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, DM, CM, and MM is what it is. Okay, so start with 560 centimeters. Still doing it the same way I was doing it before. I put centimeters down here, and then I know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And then I can just cancel out centimeters. And then to get my answer, I do 560 divided by 100. So that would be 5.6 meters. And then number 7, 6.5 meters to decimeters. So 6.5 meters. So put meters on the bottom. And I know 1 meter equals 10 decimeters. So then I cancel out meters. And then I just multiply 6.5 times 10, which equals 65 decimeters.
I have another question. Like, the way we were taught to do this is, like, the way you have, like, the loops on top, like, you just move the decimal that many places.
That's fine.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So if that works for you, then go for it. All right, and number 8, we have 3.2 decameters. So the abbreviation for that is DAM for decameter, so that's the big one. Okay, and then so on the next fraction, I put decameters on the bottom. Okay, so there are one decameter is equal to 10 meters. All right, so that's what I mean when I say I like to refer back to that basic unit. So I'm always using meters in the middle of my problem, even though, you don't have to, but that's how I do it. So then from meters, I'll go to centimeters because I know 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. And then I'm able to cancel out meters. So basically I'm doing 3.2 times 10 times 100 to get my answer. Which is 3,200 centimeters. Okay. All right, so then we're going to go with converting between the English and the metric system. So for that, we're definitely going to use the conversion factors that we have on the formula sheet. And then let's see, so we have 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So start with what we have, which is 19 inches. And then multiply it by a fraction that has inches in the denominator. And then our conversion factor is telling us that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So then cancel out the inches. So to get the answer, you just multiply 19 times 2.54. So that's 48.26 centimeters. All right, and by the way, whenever you're doing your homework, it's possible that they might use a conversion factor that is slightly different from one of these conversion factors, especially on like converting between metric and English units, because all of those are rounded off at some point. So if they've rounded it off in a slightly different way, it may give you a slightly different answer. So if they do give you if they are giving you a conversion factor on the homework problem that's a little bit different, you may need to make sure that you use the one on there to make sure you get the right answer. Okay? Just FYI. And then number 10, millimeters to inches. So I don't have a conversion factor that goes directly from millimeters to inches, but I know how to convert millimeters to centimeters, and then I can convert centimeters to inches. So that's what I'll do. So start with 55 millimeters, and then put millimeters on the bottom, and then I'm going to go directly to meters, because I don't know, I'm just anal about it. I don't know why. I know 1,000 millimeters are equal to 1 meter. So that gets rid of millimeters, and that gets me to meters. And then on the bottom I put 1 meter, which I know is equal to 100 centimeters. So now I'm at centimeters. I got rid of meters. Now I just need to get to inches. And I know that, so I got to put centimeters on the bottom. My conversion factor says 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. So now I've gotten rid of centimeters and I've arrived at inches. So let's see. And I guess just go ahead and say I would do basically everything that's on the top. So it'd be 55 times 100 in parentheses divided by about 1,000 times 2.54 in parentheses. All right, so that gives me approximately 2.17 inches. Okie dokie. Any questions?
Where did they, never mind.
Yes.
They just said,
Someone else besides you can actually have a question sometimes, Mary. Yes, what is your question?
I did it a bit of a different way.
Uh-huh.
I went from millimeters to meters to yards to inches, and I got a different answer.
Okay, well, it should be pretty close though, right? What'd you get?
It's 1.8.
1.8?
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, so,
Millimeters.
yeah. I mean, so that is, that's interesting that it was that much different. If you were to do that like on a quiz or a test, as long as you showed your work, then that's completely fine, but yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. So tell me again what you did? You went from what?
Millimeters to meters.
Uh-huh. And then meters to yards to inches.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just try that. Did you do something wrong? Because I'm like, I'm really surprised that it would be that much different. Because let's just see what that would actually be, because that's kind of interesting. That'd be 1 meter, and that would be, and then
I
you
just
did.
put, 0.9 yards over.
Oh.
1 meter.
Because it's supposed to be 0.9 meters is equal to 1 yard. So, I mean, yeah, that's a really good point to bring up, though. I mean, because
you could totally do that. Let's just see what that would give you. That'd be 36 inches. So that would be, you would do basically 55 times 36 divided by 1,000 times 0.9. Let's just see what that would actually do. I'm guessing, let's see how close it is. Should be pretty close. They gave me 2.2, you know, so that's much closer. So it's still a little bit off, but that's still a lot closer. So, but yeah, and so, you know, like, that's why when you're doing like the tests and stuff, you really want to show your work just in case, because there are so many different ways to do it. But as long as you show your work, then, you know, if all you did was write down 2.2 and that's it, you get nothing for that. Now, if you show your work, you're fine. So, show your work. It annoyed me so much last semester when my 1332 students were like, just refused to show their work. It was really pissing me off. This is what happens when you're pregnant. I'm like, I can't put up with this anymore.
How did you do that?
I just, oh, people. Okay.
Argue with you. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. So my tolerance for people not showing their work is at a minimum at this point. So. Okay, but yeah, okay, I'm sorry, you got a 20 on the test? That's really going to make a difference? Okay. Fine. Okay, so let's see. Number 11. Okay, 8 yards to meters. Okay, so that's a simple one because we have the direct conversion factor. So 8 yards, and then, yeah, so 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. So just multiply 8 times 0.9 to get the answer. So that'd be 7.2, right? $7.9, 7.2 meters. Okay. 63 miles per hour convert to kilometers per hour. So the per hour part is the same on both of them. So basically all we're doing is just converting 63 miles to kilometers. So 63 miles and then miles. Let's see if we have a conversion factor. We have 1 mile equals 1.6 kilometers. So just multiply 63 times 1.6 to get the answer. So that's 100.8. 100.8 kilometers per hour. And then 75 decimeters to yards. Okay, this will be a fun one. 75 decimeters. Okay, so I am always going to want to take that directly to meters. So 1 meter contains 10 decimeters. Okay, so I got rid of decimeters. So now I'm at meters. I'm trying to go to yards. Okay, oh, well, let's see. It's so easy. Oh my gosh. I thought it was going to be a lot longer. 1 yard equals 0.9 meters. So just put meters down here. 0.9. And on the top, we have 1 yard. And so that gets rid of meters. That gets us to yards, which is our desired destination. So to calculate the answer is going to be 75 divided by, parentheses, 10 times 0.9. which is approximately 8.33 yards. Okay. Let's maybe spend a few more minutes working on some worksheet problems. The fourth page is all metric system. So maybe just do a few of those. If you want to just focus on the ones that have the M, that's what we've basically been doing, and the ones that have the meters. Maybe just do a couple of those, like number 3A.
So are you gonna use worksheets right now?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you don't have to.
If I'm- Correct. Yeah, you shouldn't have to print the worksheets. I try to bring them in. Just the notes, yeah. Yeah, I'll try to remember to always print the worksheets for y'all. I'm sorry. You just have to download it and then print it. So yeah, go to that one that has, it's like, I think it's like the fourth page, and it has all the metric ones. And maybe just do like number 3A, and like, you know, the ones that have the M's. 1B, I guess. 6B, something like that. Just do a couple of those. It's the fourth page. It looks like this. You don't have a worksheet packet? Oh. Okay, did you come in late? Because we passed it around. Yeah, keep flipping through. It should be the fourth page in there. That's the third page. That's the fourth page. There's an extra one right there. And then also on the fifth page, you might want to just do a couple of those as well. Those are the ones where you're converting between metric and English units. And then again, all of the answers are on the back of the sheet. So.
Do you have any questions? Or any help? Well, yeah, I mean, especially since that one's already meters. So, but then this is hectoliters. So 1 hectoliter is 100 liters. There should be 100 down here.
A minute ago you dropped something, I don't know. If you want to grab it.
I don't know.
I don't know who it was, but it's all.
There's a paper clip, I don't know.
Any questions?
It's, so it's going this direction, so yeah, you could just go from here to here, you could just multiply that by 10. So like what you did right here, this should be, this would be 10 and this would be 1. I had to make this way. There's 10 decimeters inside of 1 meter.
So you would put that.
Yeah, and well, it should be 10 also, not 100. And then also, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with yards or feet or inches. You don't need any of this. You just would go then directly to centimeters. Because this is just the metric system, so you don't need any yards or feet or anything like that.
Okay, so you do centimeters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a question? Yeah, I can divide on this. Is it down there? Just the only thing that's counting is the units, the number is still there. So yeah, you would divide by 3. Uh-huh.
How many ounces in a quart? Well, I know that there's 8 ounces in a cup. And I know that a quart has 4 cups, basically, 2 pints, 4 cups, yeah.
I'll be here.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to 9.2, which is about area and volume unit conversion. So area, so just to give you kind of an idea of area, you have this 2-dimensional figure right here, and each one of these squares is a unit, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 5 times 8, so that would be 40 square units in that rectangle. Okay, so now when you have square units, all right, so if we know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters, so that is the unit, the conversion, that factor we were given. So you have to convert that to square units. So 1 square inch is equal to whatever that is. So, I mean, you can go ahead and square it, or you can just write squared for square centimeters. So that would be 2.54 squared would be 6.5416 square centimeters. So you have 5 square feet. So that's just another way to write square feet, just write feet squared. So I know that 1 square foot would contain 144 square inches because 144 is 12 squared. So then you would have to multiply 5 times 144. So you get 720 square inches. All right, so number 2, we have 2 square yards. So 1 square yard is equal to 36 square inches. So I have to multiply 2 times 36 squared. So that is 2,592 square inches.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where did you get that 2 from?
This 2 right here.
The one about 46 squared. Between your answer and your.
This?
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. It's okay, no problem.
Okay, and then we have 6.5 square miles. So 1 square mile equals 5,280 squared. That's going to be a lot. It's per square feet. So I have to multiply 6.5 times 5,280 squared. Yep, that's a whole lot. Square feet. So 181,209,600 square feet. And then square feet to square miles. So 327 square feet. All right, so there are 5,280 square feet in 1 square mile. So I have to do, this is going to be super tiny, 327 divided by 5,280 squared. Zero 0.00001. I'll just round it off there. That'll be good enough. Super tiny. Square miles. Alrighty, 19 square inches. So let's see, to square centimeters. All right, my conversion factor is 1. So, and now I'm going to change it to squared. So 1 square inch equals 2.54 square centimeters. So I have to multiply 19 times 2.54 squared. So 122.5804 square centimeters. All right, any questions? Eight square yards to square meters. So we do have a direct conversion factor between yards and meters. So we have 8 square yards and 1 square yard would equal 0.9 squared square meters. So we're going to multiply 8 times 0.9 squared, which is 6.48 square meters. Okay, let's see. This one might be a little bit longish. Let's see. 75 squared decimeters. So there are 10 squared decimeters squared inside of 1 meter squared. So that gets rid of squared decimeters. And then I just need to convert from squared meters to square yards, which I have the conversion factor for. So this will be 0.9 squared meters equals 1 square yard. So basically I'm doing 75 divided by parentheses 10 squared, which by the way I know is 100, and then times 0.9 squared. And that is approximately equal to 0.93 square yards. All right, and then we'll go ahead and do volume. So volume applies to 3-dimensional things. So in this case, we've got 2 by 4 by 3. So that's equal to 24 cubic units in that box thingy. All right, now with cubic units, some of the conversion factors on our formula sheet are already given in cubic units. So if it's already given in cubic units, there is no need to actually cube anything. But if it's not given in cubic units, if it's just regular linear units, that's when you would have to cube it. So number 8, we want to convert cubic feet to gallons. Okay, so we already have a direct conversion factor for that on our conversion sheet with cubic feet to gallons. So we don't need to cube anything. It's just normal, it's just straightforward. So that would be 1250 cubic feet, which I'm going to abbreviate like feet cubed. And the conversion factor states that 1 cubic foot equals 7.48 gallons. So then I just multiply 1250 times 7.48. So that's 9,350 gallons. And then number 9, 350 gallons to cubic yards. Again, that's a direct conversion factor on our sheet. So 350 gallons. And then 200 gallons equals 1 cubic yard. So in this case, we just divide 350 by 200, which is 1.75. So that'd be 1.75 cubic yards. Okay, and then 28 cubic centimeters to milliliters. And that's just a 1-to-1 direct conversion factor on the sheet. 1 milliliter equals 1 cubic centimeter. So this is going to be 28 milliliters. Really don't even need to do anything. Okay. Let's see, number 11. Okay, I think this is going to be a long one. Okay. 5 kiloliters. Okay. Do we know anything about kiloliters on here? No. The only thing that we have that's related to liters at all is the milliliters. So that's what we're going to use. So we're going to eventually convert from kiloliters to milliliters. And I would do that the way I always like to do it, just by using the basic unit of liters. So the same metric system applies to liters just like with meters. So I know that 1,000, or let's see, I got to put kiloliters on the bottom. So I know that 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters. All right, so now I got rid of kiloliters and I'm on liters. Then I know I'm trying to get to milliliters because that's the only thing that has liters on my formula sheet. So 1 liter then equals 1,000 milliliters. All right, so now I got rid of liters and I got to milliliters. All right, now I'm ultimately trying to get to cubic decameters. So first I'm going to have to go from milliliters to cubic centimeters, which is just a 1-to-1 on my sheet. So 1 milliliter equals 1 cubic centimeter. All right, now I can cancel out the milliliters. All right, now I have to go from cubic centimeters to cubic decameters. So I'm going to use meters to do that. I have to put cubic centimeters on the bottom, and then I'm going to put cubic meters on the top. So 1 meter contains 100 centimeters. So 1 cubic meter contains 100 cubed centimeters cubed. And then the last one, I have to put cubic meters here and cubic decameters here. 1 cubic decameter will be containing 10 to the third power cubic meters. Okay, now what I need to do here. So basically, I'll just write it all out. I gotta do 5 times 1,000 times 1,000 on the top, divided by parentheses 100 to the third power times 10 to the third power. And that's it. I'll give you my answer. Which gives me 0.005 cubic decameters. If you need to know how to do an exponent on your calculator, other than squared, you have to use that button that's right above x squared, that's the caret. So like if you want to put 10 to the third power, you just put 10 and then you press that caret button and then the 3. All right. Here's an application problem type of a thing. It seems kind of random, but I got it from the homework. Okay, it says, in 1975, a campus houses 3,429 people and covers 3.2 square miles. In 2005, the campus houses 6,218 people and covers 5.1 square miles. Find the population density for each year and the percent of increase. So population density just means number of people per square mile, basically. So for 1975, you have 3,429 people in 3.2 square miles. So just divide that. 3,429 divided by 3.2. So that is approximately 1,071, let's just say 72 people per square mile. And then for the year 2005, you had 6,218 people divided by 5.1 square miles. So that's approximately 1,219 people per square mile. So they want to calculate the percent of increase. So in the population density, I'm assuming. So first, I'm just going to do the amount of increase. Which is going to equal, just subtract them. So 1219 minus 1072. So that's 147. Oops. And then So then the percent of the increase would just be 147 divided by the amount that it started from, which is 1072. So that is approximately 0.1371 or 13.71% increase in population density. Okay, and let's go ahead and finish up with 9.3, which is about weight and temperature. All right, so these first few problems are specifically referring to water weight. So, like on the conversion sheet, it says, 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. So that part of it is true forever. It doesn't matter what the substance is. 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter all the time. But when it's specifically referring to water, that 1 milliliter or that 1 cubic centimeter weighs exactly 1 gram as well. All right, so we have 0.07 cubic meters of water. We want to convert that to kilograms of water. Okay, first I'm going to convert this to cubic centimeters. So 1 cubic meter equals 100 to the third power cubic centimeters. And then 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter. Or let's see, I don't need to put milliliters right there. I just need to put actually grams right there, as I'm only going to be worrying about grams at this point. Okay, that gets rid of cubic centimeters. And then I just need to convert from grams to kilograms. So actually that would be 1,000 grams is in 1 kilogram. So I've got to do 0.07 times 100 to the third power divided by 1,000. Which is equal to 70 kilograms of water. So 0.22 kiloliters of water convert to grams. All right, so starting with 0.22 kiloliters. And I need to convert that to eventually milliliters. So 1 kiloliter equals 1,000 liters, and 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. And in the case of water, 1 milliliter equals 1 gram. So 0.22 times 1,000 times 1,000. Equals 220,000 grams. All right. Now let's see. 520 milligrams to decigrams. So 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. 1 gram equals 10 decigrams. So 520 times 10 divided by 1,000. Equals 5.2 decigrams. $35 ounces to pounds. Let's see, you should already really know that one. But they gave it to you anyway on the conversion sheet. 16 ounces in a pound. So 35 ounces. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So 35 divided by 16. Is 2.1875 pounds. And 425 grams to ounces. So we've got that conversion factor. 1 ounce equals 28 grams. So 425 grams and 28 grams equals 1 ounce. So we have to do 425 divided by 28, which is approximately 15.18 ounces. And then pounds to kilograms, that's another direct conversion factor we have. 152 pounds. 1 pound equals 0.45 kilograms. So we just multiply 152 times 0.45. 68.4 kilograms. All right. And number 7, ounces to milligrams. That'll require one additional step to convert, because we'll convert ounces to grams and then grams to milligrams. So 2.5 ounces, 1 ounce equals 28 grams, and 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams. So 2.5 times 28 times 1,000. Equals 70,000 milligrams. And this reminds me, I heard a news story not too long ago where some people were doing a clinical trial on caffeine, and they accidentally they were supposed to be giving people something like, was it 300 milligrams or something like that, and instead they gave them 300 grams. That's kind of a big deal. You know, people are like, it's 1 letter, grams, milligrams, come on, no big deal, right? Well, you might think differently if you were the one receiving the dosage. They were hospitalized. I mean, yeah, like they almost died. Yeah. So yeah, all those little zeros and decimal points and unit thingies that are just, you think it's like no biggie, right? It kind of could be in the real life situations. Okay, last but not least, we have temperature conversions, Fahrenheit and Celsius. So this is just like some general information for you. You don't have to like memorize it or anything, but just to kind of give you an idea. So like you've got 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing, or it's the same thing as 0 degrees Celsius. And then like if you go, so basically every time you go up 5 degrees on Celsius, you're going up 9 degrees on Fahrenheit. So that's where they get 9 over 5, or in other words, 1.8 in the formula. So just to give you kind of general idea, like I said, that's the freezing point. Body temperature, we know like that's 98.6 for Fahrenheit, which is the same thing as 37 Celsius. Boiling point of water is 212 for Fahrenheit, which is the same as 100 for Celsius. So just some points of reference for you. You don't have to memorize it, but. Let's see. You do have on the formula sheet with the conversion factors is that formula right there. So that is the formula you have on the sheet that you'll be using. So 50 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, just plug it in. Pretty straightforward. F equals 1.8 times 50 plus 32. So just 1.8 times 50 plus 32 equals 122. So 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Easy peasy. Okay. And then only slightly more complicated would be a conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius. It will require a little bit of our basic algebra skills. So we've got 51 equals 1.8 C plus 32, and you want to solve for C. So subtract 32 from both sides. So 51 minus 32 is 19. So 19 equals 1.8 C, and then divide both sides by 1.8. And so that is approximately 10.6 degrees Celsius. All right, any questions about that? All right, number 10, same thing. So negative 22 equals 1.8 C plus 32. Subtract 32 from both sides. So that's negative 54 equals 1.8 C. And then divide both sides by 1.8. And that gives you negative 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. Okay. And number 11. The label on a bottle of medicine says that each 5 milliliter teaspoonful contains 1.52 grams of glucose. If the bottle is 4 ounces, how many grams of glucose are in the bottle? 1 ounce is equal to 30 milliliters. Okay. Okay, so we have, so basically we're going to convert the 4 ounces of the entire bottle to the grams of glucose, basically. So I'm thinking of it. So we start out with 4 ounces, and they're telling us that that is equal to 1 ounce equals 30 milliliters. So 1 ounce equals 30 milliliters. And then for the glucose, we know that every 5 milliliters contains 1.52 grams of glucose. So that should do it. So then we just need to do 4 times 30 times 1.52 and divide by 5. So that gives me 36.48 grams of glucose. Alrighty. All right, so that is it for chapter 9.